coughing off the couch? Please make him sleep in the yard. I don't know why I'm so tired. Because you've been putting on a production all dang day. My husband coughs and gags. It infuriates me. If we don't make it, I'll be writing gags when he coughs on the divorce papers. LOL. It's not even 8 a.m. and I'm mad at a stranger's husband.
Oh, don't be dramatic.
Somebody call Hollywood.
Don't be so dramatic.
I can't breathe and eat and drink at the same time, can I? With a blocked nose.
Babe, what's my temp? I'm burning up. 98.6, babe. He's so dramatic. Thank you. I'm gonna have to show him this comment. Those are some of the top TikToks about the man flu and some of the top comments from those TikToks. Now we're gonna look at some of the top TikToks showing pain that's specific to women. To all the girls out there, we'll all get through this. We're strong. Cherish your girls and never invalidate their feelings. You never know what kind of pain they go through every month. This is me right now, I swear to God. I'm barely holding in my tears. The pain is unbearable, and I go through this every month. Why are none of those top videos laughing at women who are experiencing period pain? Are you serious? Because mocking a group's experience of pain that's rooted in their biology is both sexist and cruel. Yes, I agree with you. The man flu is a term that's often used as a joke to describe the idea that when a man has a common cold or a minor illness, he exaggerates his symptoms and acts like he has something far more severe. I've always heard it like with an undertone of eye rolling, as if the man is a toddler being like, my applesauce is the wrong temperature. But what I actually just learned is that men actually act sicker when they get sick because men actually get sicker when they get sick. I'm Gabriella, I'm a licensed trauma and attachment therapist, and I'm on a mission to understand the male experience and to humanize men. So I did a big old deep dive in the research literature, and I'm a therapist, not a doctor, but here are 4 things that I learned. The first is that testosterone suppresses the immune system. Testosterone downregulates immune responses, and men produce fewer antibodies and are slower to fight off infection. There's an evolutionary biology theory that this is part of a trade-off because men's bodies are more focused on building strength, and that comes at the cost of immune responses. The second is that estrogen boosts immune function. It amplifies immune response and increases the body's defense mechanisms. So women produce more inflammatory markers initially, but resolve them more effectively. This gives them an edge during early stages of infection. And this is also why women are far more likely to have autoimmune diseases. Women have 2 X chromosomes, and that gives them genetic backup. Men only have 1 X, which makes them more vulnerable to mutations or dysfunction in immune pathways. Number 4 is that men experience more severe symptoms and worse symptom expression than women with the same virus. Research on influenza, SARS, MERS, and COVID-19 consistently shows that men have higher hospitalization rates and mortality rates than women do. Yeah, but some of the research that's used to justify this theory is based on men self-reporting their symptom severity. So we can't know exactly whether or not it's true or not. Yeah, you're right. Some of the research is self-report, but sometimes that's the only measurement that we have. And something that you really care about, and that you should care about, Gabby from the past, is the fact that women's pain is often dismissed or chalked up to anxiety or something not medically relevant. You're doing that same thing to men. When you hear about men experiencing pain, your first thought shouldn't be to invalidate it, because you would not like if that same thing were done to you. In your attempt to not be a victim, you don't want to accidentally become the villain. I wanted to talk about the man flu, not because I wanted to talk about men having the flu, but because I wanted to talk about how we treat male vulnerability as pathetic instead of human. About how we've created a culture where male pain is invisible until it turns into anger or addiction or death. I've identified as a feminist my whole life. I'm not sure where I stand now, because feminism used to be very focused on equality and female achievement, but now it seems like it's taken on this spirit of something vengeful. Especially in modern feminist spaces, it seems that mocking men is not only tolerated, but it's sometimes celebrated as righteous, where this casual contempt and cruelty toward men is passed off as empowerment. And this contempt is not harmless. It trains us to see men as less human, less worthy of compassion, less deserving of care. True empowerment doesn't require another person's humiliation. True empowerment builds bridges. In school, I never learned about any systemic issues that were specific to men outside of the feminist framing. And when I started working in the field, I realized that men had a lot of very serious systemic issues that were not being taken seriously in the way that they need to be. So I really tried to figure out why and get to the bottom of it. And then I learned about a theory called male disposability. This is a theory created by Dr. Warren Farrell, and it's the theory that we are all incentivized to ignore male pain and to pretend that it doesn't exist because we rely on men sacrificing their lives and sacrificing their bodies to keep our society running and to keep us safe. That desensitization to male pain shows up everywhere. Imagine if some of these comments that were left on the videos about the man flu were left on the videos about women experiencing period pain. Convulsing on the bathroom floor. Please make her sleep in the yard. I don't know why I'm so tired. Maybe it's because you've been putting on a production all dang day. It's not even 8 a.m. and I'm mad at a stranger's wife. She is so dramatic. Thank you. I'm gonna have to show her this comment. If I had seen those man flu TikToks and read those comments a few years ago, I wouldn't have thought anything about it. But even now, if I had seen someone making those comments about female pain, I would have been like, that's misogyny, they hate women. But culturally, we don't see this making fun of men as hatred of men because it's just the status quo. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see that women have had an amazing opportunity for social advancement. I live a life right now that neither of my grandmothers could even have dreamt of living, and I'm so grateful for that. Men have not had that same opportunity. They haven't had their historical wrongs brought to the spotlight or even acknowledged, let alone corrected. I think it's time that as a culture, we need to start rejecting the cultural programming that teaches us that men are disposable. We need to actively teach ourselves how to see male pain and how to care about men who are hurting. And what I'm not saying, and what I definitely don't believe, is that we should treat men like victims. I don't think that victim culture is helpful. I think that it really contributes to people developing learned helplessness and feeling unable to be resilient. But what I am advocating for is an acceptance of reality. The reality that we're not accepting is that men are human and that they should be treated as such. If we want men to be able to demonstrate vulnerability and tell us when they're hurting or tell us that they're not okay, it is up to us to create a space that's safe enough for that to happen. We can't have general contempt for men or passively mock male suffering and expect the men in our lives to feel safe with us. And I'm certainly not the only woman that's noticing this absence of caring about men in our culture. Every time I go on social media, I see more and more women realizing this reality, and I actually feel pretty hopeful about the future. And I know there are so many reasons not to feel hopeful about the future, but feeling hopeful is a choice. I love humans. I think humanity is amazing. And I think that we're in a lot of pickles right now, to say the least, but I think that the way that we start to get out of this is we learn how to care for each other. I think it's time that we reconnect with our humanity. If we learn how to care for each other and to help each other, I think that's the way out. And I think a good first step is to start taking all pain seriously, regardless of one's identity status. But before I let you guys go, I want to remind you that anything that we're looking for in our lives is what we are going to find. I specifically was looking for videos of women being cruel and dismissive toward their male partners who were sick for the video. But there are so many good and loving and nurturing women, just like there are so many good and nurturing and loving men. But I don't want the examples of women being really terrible to their male counterparts to stick in your head, so we are going to watch some videos of women taking really good care of men, because that's what I want your brain to notice. We've always got to remember that what we see in our social media feed influences what we see in the world. So if we want to have healthy relationships in our lives, we need to be showing our brain examples of what healthy relationships look like. If we only focus on the bad, then we're only going to see the bad. Okay, some of these are so cute. Taking care of him when he's sick, even if I end up getting sick too. The feminine urge to be his wife, baby him, and treat him like a king as he deserves. My love language: caring for my sick boyfriend. And this is the most important one. Women validating men's emotions, creating a safe space for them to heal, understanding their own mental health, and advocating for them to be understood. Men realizing that there are still women out there who care about men. There are lots of us. And you've got to remember that most of the people who actively hate men are way louder than those of us who want to quietly care for the men in our lives. So remember that the media is distorting your perception, because there are so many women who truly love and value taking care of the men in their lives. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please go take care of the men and boys in your life, and I will talk to you soon.